we've never had an opportunity like this ever in the whole of human history.
We're here at Apps World speaking to Dr. Sue Black. Sue is named as one of the top 50 women in tech in Europe and also 119th out of 250 most influential women leaders in the world, and has been a pioneer of women in tech for 20 years. Sue's also an award-winning computer scientist, a radical thinker, a social entrepreneur, and was recently in the BBC show Girls Can Code. Quite an impressive bio there, Sue. I have to catch my breath. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us today as well. We do really appreciate it. And if we can just start off with your story, because it is really an amazing story. From zero to hero it's been. And for those who don't know, if you can just briefly talk us through the key events in your life that drove you to where you are today.
Well, I guess if we start when I left school at 16, got married at 20, and then had 3 children by 23, so not a traditional background for a career in technology. And then unfortunately my marriage broke down, so at 25 I ended up being a single parent living on a council estate with my kids and wondering how to support them. I thought that education was the key, so I did a maths course at Southwark College, then I went to South Bank Uni and did a degree in computing, and that went well, so I did a PhD in software engineering, and now I guess I've had like a 20-year academic career in computer science, and I'm doing all the things I'm doing today.
Fantastic, really impressive. So you're also, obviously you're seen by many as the ultimate thought leader for women in technology, and who were your role models though when you were first starting out?
Well, I guess when I was starting out I probably didn't really know of any role models at the time, especially women in tech, so I've only really learnt about them as, you know, I've gone through my career. But I have to really say that Ada Lovelace, you know, Byron's daughter, who, working with Charles Babbage, invented the idea of software, so of course she's a massive role model. I love Steve Shirley, Dame Stephanie Shirley, who set up a company in the 1960s, running that with women programming, so writing software at home. And she built that into an amazing big software company. They did the flight recorder for the Concorde, and I think she sold that company in the 70s for like 150 million, and now she's a major UK philanthropist, so Steve Shirley's incredible too.
Well, stellar role models there, and obviously you're right up there with them now as well. So you set up the London British Computer Society BCS Women Network in 1998 and BCS Women in 2001. What inspired you to do that, and did it have anything to do with those women of Bletchley Park?
Right, well, so actually I set up the group in the first place because I was going to conferences as a PhD student and finding that there were hardly any women there at all. So, you know, I really wanted to have some women to chat to, you know, going to conferences. And then, because I was in software engineering, and so then I went to a conference in Brussels, which was mainly women, and realised how much more relaxed I was and how much easier it was to chat to people. And I just thought, what I need to do is try and connect all the women, maybe not actually see them in person at conferences, but connect them all online so that we can all chat to each other online rather than in person. And it was actually that led me to go up to Bletchley Park, and then I found out about all the women that worked there. So BCS Women led me up there, and yeah, and then once I found out that more than 8,000 women worked at Bletchley Park and the outstations, I just thought I need to raise awareness of that, and that kind of led me into the whole Bletchley Park story and all of the campaigning that I've done, I suppose, to save Bletchley Park.
Well, I know you are really busy today, otherwise I could talk to you all day about that and find out all about it. But keeping on the Bletchley Park theme, it's also the fastest crowdfunded book in history. Why do you think that it resonated with so many people?
Yeah, well, so that was a surprise for me, a very nice surprise. So my book's called Saving Bletchley Park, which is you can find on the Unbound website, and it should be coming out any time now. In terms of people getting excited about it, I think it's, you know, it's a story that was hidden for a very long time. Just all of the work that happened at Bletchley Park, and I think people have only really recently learned that it shortened the work done shortened the war by 2 years, and that 11 million people a year were dying. So potentially the work done there saved, you know, 22 million lives, but we didn't know about it. So I think, you know, it's a story that everyone wants to read more and more about, because it's a story of our, you know, the peace that we've got, I think, in the world today. A lot of that can be attributed to Bletchley Park, and so everyone wants to know what happened and, you know, how we ran the campaign that campaign and stuff.
Definitely. Well, thank you. So I'm just going to wrap up by asking you a couple of questions that we're asking to all of the fascinating female thought leaders we're speaking to today. Yeah. So obviously Women in Tech has gained momentum in the last year, especially in the press. What sort of opportunities would you like to say that there are for women in tech these days?
Well, I think they're massive opportunities. I mean, there are opportunities for everybody in technology these days, but I think particularly for women, because I guess we've been underrepresented in the area. So most apps, most software has been built by men. So having women in the space really gives women an opportunity to produce apps and software that relates more to women's lives, but also to build stuff that's much more kind of balanced. So I think there are massive opportunities for women in tech now, that you can learn stuff online. You can build your own app, you can start learning to code using something like Code Academy. All the information's out there now, and with just a bit of confidence you can really make stuff happen for yourself. And so, I don't know, it's just the best time ever, I think, for women in technology.
Definitely. What value do you think that women bring to the industry that their male counterparts don't, and what resources are available to them?
Well, look, I suppose I don't see it specifically really as men and women bringing different things. I think really kind of we're all on a spectrum, I think, really. But I do think because boys in general are brought up to be more competitive, and girls in general are brought up to make sure everyone's okay around them and kind of like put themselves last. So I think that kind of maybe problem solving and making sure things work, keeping the communication channels going, getting everyone working together. So I think maybe it's so women with the background they've got now can bring that.
Of course, if you're interested in keeping up with what Sue is up to, you can follow her on Twitter. If you'd just like to say your Twitter handles, everybody can follow you.
Yeah, I'm at Dr. Black on Twitter.
Dr. Black, and also you can follow Ask Dr. Black in the Mirror as well. So thank you very much for speaking to us today, Sue. I really do appreciate your time.
Thanks very much.
I'm Hannah Kirkpatrick, and this is Cloud Moves TV.